Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Zafar Ahmad, and this day I would like to explain about ESP or English for Specific Purposes. So, what is English for Specific Purposes? Coffee described ESP as a quick and economical method of using the English language for efficient communication in employment or for the intention of academic learning. So, according to Lorenzo, ESP concentrates more on language in context than on teaching grammar and language structures. So, there are 3 points to remember here. So, the first one is ESP is commonly taught to adult students. And number two, and second, often delivered in a professional or office setting. And the third, converts learners into users of the language via intrinsic motivation. In ESP, language is learned not for its own sake or for the sake of gaining a general education, but to smooth the paths to entry or greater linguistic efficiency in academic, professional, or workplace environment. Next, Dudley Evans separates the definition of ESP. There are two characteristics of ESP. The first is variable characteristics. So it is such as expect the learner to have basic fluency in the language, created for specific subjects, and primarily meant for intermediate or advanced learners, and designed for adult students learning at either a professional, tertiary, or secondary level, and use a different teaching strategy than that of general English or English as a foreign language, EFL, in certain situations. And there are absolute characteristics. There are content is created to meet detailed learners' needs, and it uses the primary practice and workings of the field or sector it serves. And the grammar terminology, register, skills, and dialogue and genre of the language will depend upon the learner's activities or field of work. Types of ESP. There are 3 types of ESP. There are English for Science and Technology, or EST, English for Business and Economics, or EBE, and English for Social Studies, or ESS. And each type is concerned with specific field of scientific knowledge as technology, business, and economy, or the social fields in general, with its various and large amount of human science studies. So, is ESP different to general English? How does ESP differ from other English language courses? So, according to Hutchison and Webb and Waters, ESP is an advanced approach to language teaching in which all the choices related to content and strategy are supported on the learner's reason for learning. So, how is ESP different from general English language courses? The 3 points here are the English words and sentences learned, the subject matter discussed, and all relate to a particular field or discipline. For example, a lawyer writing a brief, or a diplomat preparing a policy paper. And English for Specific Purposes programs use materials that are specifically designed to meet the needs of specific group of the learners, usually an adults. And tuition for an ESP course may be somewhat higher than that of a general English language course. Because the specialized teaching requiring professionals, the broad range of supporting activities, and facilities explain this higher cost. The benefits of taking an ESP courses. There are benefits from ESP courses. There are faster acquisition of the required English language terms, as the context is context-based. It allows students to learn in an accelerated manner. Number two, optimum use of their learning resources, all of which are pre-identified according to the goals and needs of the learner. And number three, effective content application, as learners can use the appropriate language terminology on the job soon after the completion of the course. And the last benefits is a rapid increase in job productivity and efficiency, as employees are better prepared to communicate with their clientele and colleges. So, is there any future of ESP? If the ESP community hopes to grow and flourish in the future, it is vital that the community as a whole understands what ESP actually represents. Only then can new members join with confidence and existing members carry on the practice, which have brought ESP to the position it has in EFL teaching today. In Japan, in particular, ESP is still in its infancy, and so now is the ideal time to form such a consensus. Perhaps this can stem from the Dudley events definition given in the article, but I suspect a more rigorous version will be coming soon. In his book on ESP to be published in 1998, of course, interested parties are also strongly urged to attend the next Japan conference on ESP, which is certain to focus again on this topic. That's the end of my presentation. Thank you for your attention. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.